Today's topic on Critical Insights, the resilience of critical infrastructure. What is the resilience of critical infrastructure?
Resilience in and of itself is all those things put together that keep something operational, assuring that it's operational and can come back in the face of adversity. There are, weather conditions, any type of downtime, how fast can you get up? How good can you assure that you're keeping that operational state happening? And what is challenging in modern days now is the fact that we have all these connections. We want to connect everything to not just the internet, but to itself. And we want to have more access to more data, more telemetry. So that puts a lot of challenge on these operation environments where you had old technology that was disconnected, and resiliency was easier to manage because you could go out there and isolate them from the world, and the threats and the risks were much less. In today's modern society, as we do modernize substations, operational centers, in generation plants, transmission substations, we're building a more challenging environments to keep those organizations up and running, those technologies up and running. So resilience is trying to do whatever it takes to make sure that those environments are up and running. Resiliency includes the preparation for any possible downtime caused by, like I said, weather or a technology failure. How do you continue to operate without a glitch? And that's what resilience is.
What is the most vulnerable critical infrastructure?
There's arguments on this. I think the safe thing to say is your core critical infrastructures. That's your electricity, your gas and oil, your water, hydro. All those things are very critical, but I'm a little biased here maybe, but the electric sector is probably your most critical because all those other ones won't run unless there's electricity. So if you think about it, electricity makes everything go today. Everything, including your EV cars. If you don't believe that, it's true. Plug it in and you'll see the electricity coming from your home, which came from somewhere else. It came from a generation plant. That could have been a water or a coal plant. But those things all rely on electricity. All these things that we want to do, our phones, for example, your drone cameras right here that we're operating. We wouldn't have any of these. Hospitals would be down. So I would say electricity has to be the most critical of all critical infrastructures.
What are some threats to critical infrastructure security?
Threats to critical infrastructure are abound, and it's not just, you hear in the news cyber attacks are happening all the time, and that is the huge, I guess it's the most colorful, sexy type of issue that's going on today, but it's not the only one. We have cold weather. Cold weather is a big threat to our critical infrastructures, especially electricity, when you have these giant wind farms and the turbines freeze up. That's a threat. But obviously cybersecurity is what we talk about most, and cybersecurity and physical attacks. In energy sector, pipelines, there's physical threats there, people wanting to do harm. And that can come from all kinds of things. It could be domestic terrorism, but most likely it's environmentalists. You have all kinds of different things going on. State, sponsored attacks, from wherever, trying to get to us are a threat to our critical infrastructure. It's all about trying to see what they can do to harm us while they may be doing something else. Often call these threats the shining object kind of thing. We feel pretty comfortable in a lot of our critical infrastructure that we can recover, we can get back up and running, but there will be harm. But maybe not as big a harm as everybody thinks, but it could be a shiny object issue. So one of the threats and risk that I get concerned about is attacks against a small part of a critical infrastructure, let's say a very small substation, and they're attacking that, and now everybody's focused on that because it's a big deal. A cyber attack on a transmission substation. This is a huge issue and concern for us, so it's a shiny object while something else big is being planned or happening, like an attack on airlines or a physical attack somewhere else in a subway or something like that. Lots of threats coming to the critical infrastructure. Do we know the motives of the bad guys? Not always. They want to do bad things.
What steps would you suggest to strengthen critical infrastructure resiliency?
Be vigilant. It's a term we hear all the time. Be vigilant. Do robust things. You get tired of hearing those two words a lot, but it's important. Security, for example, cyber and physical, it's a series of processes. It's a series of disciplines, and complacency is the devil to all that. So if you're not being vigilant in times when nothing seems to be bad, then you're not doing it right. That's what you need to continue to do, is in times where there's zero attacks happening, zero things happening, you can't let your guard down. You got to continue. That would be the biggest thing, I think, any utility or critical infrastructure owner or operator is just continue that vigilance and determination to continue to improve on your cybersecurity and physical security. Going backwards is not a good idea. Do not reduce that budget. I seriously focus on doing better, because the bad guys they're always a step ahead of us. And if we can't continue to improve our processes, be vigilant and follow those processes continuously, and I know I've been in this environment for years, security can be boring, but you have to play the game. You got to do it. So I highly recommend doing that first and foremost. One of the things that I've been involved in for years is helping utilities, helping critical infrastructure owners and operators get better at what they do. Physical, cyber, operational side, helping build those processes that really make a difference, and building programs and solutions that can help fight against these terrible things that can happen. Heaven forbid anything bad happens, but you want to be able to have that capability, and it's hard. It's hard to find the resources to do so. It's hard to find people that actually have been there and done it. We're Archer. We have a slew of people that have experience in your environment, in your world, and have hands-on solutions for almost anything you can think of that's related to protecting the critical infrastructure. We want to help, we're passionate about it, and we hope you give us a call.
If you need assistance protecting your critical infrastructure, reach out and contact Archer today.